Hi there, this is week 3, assignment 3 feedback for James, Wendy, Daniel, and Tyesha. So James, let's start with you. Complementary harmony is correct, and the palette reflects the correct colors. Split complementary, it looks like maybe your line got turned to white rather than black. You want to make sure that that third kind of stick is pointing to the orange, but the palette looks good. So we do have high and low contrast in the composition. We have areas of subtlety and areas of pop, which indicate high and low contrast. I'd like to see your shape complexity continue to grow. Right now, this kind of looks like a design from week 2, assignment 3 that could indicate depth, which is not bad to bring in previous week's concepts into this, into current weeks, but I want your shapes to continue to develop. So I'd like to see you utilizing more complex shapes so that you are building that repertoire as well as your understanding of color. And there are a couple of examples in my video tutorials on how to develop unique shapes using the software. You can use those, or you can go to other resources online like YouTube or lynda.com that we have linked in the classroom, or just Google searches on, like unique shapes using the pen tool in Illustrator. I think that will help to develop more shape complexity in the design so that you can explore more complex shape contrast scenarios in your composition. Wendy, really great use of the unique shapes tutorials that we saw in your video tutorials. I would recommend adding something simple to the designs. Right now they all feel like very pointed shapes. Maybe you could add some horizontal, just stripes in the background so that we have very clean, simple shapes in comparison to the complexity of these burst shapes that you're creating in your design. I would also recommend really honing in on that idea of informality and clustering a bunch of different sized shapes to the bottom area of your composition, and then just leaving this area at the top very open and very subtle, so not much shape going on in the top, but lots of clusters of different size shapes in the bottom. Daniel, let's take a look at yours. I love the wave shapes. I would recommend, right now they're all pointing to the right, maybe pointing some to the left or making a different sized or different shape wave so that we have even more shape complexity that's built, shape contrast that's being built into the complexity of your design. So rather than all of these 3 or 4 series of waves in the background being the same, maybe making this middle one a little different so that you're creating more contrast. And then I would recommend using the most color contrast in the waves that are in the foreground in comparison to the background. That will create a stronger focal point in these series of waves that are closest to the viewer. So thinking about the lightest, the brightest in the foreground, and the most contrast between the foreground and the background in order to really enhance that front area as being your focal point. Tyesha, really great contrast in shape, great contrast in color. I would recommend adding a background color to your design so it's not just the white of an artboard. Try to use one of the obvious tints, tones, or shades from your palette in that background for an even stronger sense of contrast in the composition.